You ever have one of those nights where you wake up, heart thumping, thinking it's just a bad dream, but you realize you're wide awake, standing in your own living room, with the blue glow of a blowtorch reflecting off a woman's glasses, and three of her friends standing in the shadows, holding gas cans like they're about to throw the world's worst barbecue? That's how it started for me. Bethany Whitmore, Queen Bee of Stonebridge Estates, staring me down at 3 in the morning and telling me, "Your farm is a cancer and I'm the chemotherapy." You know what I mean? Some people throw shade with words. Bethany preferred open flame. I'm Garrison Cross, and if you told me a year ago I'd be standing in boxers and an old army shirt, facing down a suburban death squad in my own house, I'd have laughed you out the door. But that's the thing about life. It sneaks up on you, turns left when you expect right, and suddenly you're the guy fighting to keep what's yours. 6 months earlier, I'd landed this farm in a whistleblower settlement against Defense Corps Industries. $2 million in hush money because I blew the lid off their dirty secret. Faulty body armor shipped to soldiers, 73 hurt, 2 killed. Also a boardroom full of cowards could pad their bonuses. They thought money would make me go away, but my lawyer found a loophole. I couldn't talk about the company, but I could buy up the corn farm next to their biggest investor's house. And because I'm a paranoid guy with a DoD security clearance, I had enough surveillance gear running to record a moon landing in full color. Bethany didn't know about that. She just knew some unsightly farmer had moved in next door, and to her, that was grounds for war. But breaking into my house with gas cans, that was a new level. As she laughed, real glass shards in the dark kind of laugh, she told me, "You bought this to spite us, didn't you? Gerald told me all about you." Gerald being her husband, Defense Corps board member, and the kind of guy who'd step over his own mother for a stock option. She held the torch so close to my magazines I could smell the pages start to curl. "You haven't seen worse," she hissed, telling me how they'd run off 3 other farmers, each one encouraged to sell to Verdant Holdings LLC, the company that had become a familiar ghost in county records. You want to know how fast you go from normal to panic? It's about the speed you see someone threaten your family photos with an open flame. But I kept my voice calm. Anger's wasted on people like her. I pointed out that the Hendersons, Nwans, Kowalskis, they didn't leave, they got pushed. She sneered. "We protected property values. Your corn is ruining our aesthetic. Your tractors wake us up. You're a wound that won't heal." Behind her, Diane Prescott, the HOA secretary, snapped pictures of my settlement paperwork. Roger Clemens, the board's muscle, blocked the door. And Travis Hartley, the treasurer, fidgeted like a kid at his first stick-up. Then came their pitch. "Sell to Verdant for $800,000. Take it or else." Less than half what I paid. Bethany told me about the last holdout, Gabriel Stewart, whose irrigation mysteriously failed. She bragged about anonymous reports that destroyed mortgages, smiled with all the warmth of a rattlesnake. The casual evil would have shocked me, if I hadn't already suspected it. I pressed her, "Why tonight? Why the rush?" That's when Travis blurted, "The vote's tomorrow. If we don't have your land, the deal falls through." Bethany's glare could have boiled water, but the truth was out. They weren't protecting a neighborhood. They were clearing land for a new Defense Corps facility, far from any prying eyes, but close enough for executives' convenience. So I spelled it out. You're clearing farmland for Defense Corps. This isn't about lawns. It's about building something you don't want seen. Bethany clung to her story, but her voice was tight. I listed their shell companies, the votes, the plans. They were building a private training ground for military contractors. She said I was speculating, but her mask was slipping. "Sign or we'll burn you out," she snarled, waving the torch like it was a gavel. You ever see someone break? Travis's hand shook so hard passing me the contract, I thought he'd drop it. The effective date was tomorrow. They needed me out tonight. But I said no. Not a negotiation, not a maybe, just no. Bethany blinked, stunned. I stood my ground, all 6'2" of me, and said if she tried to burn my fields, I'd make their body armor scandal look like a parking ticket. She threatened, "You can't prove anything." I nodded at my thermal cameras, told her everything was already uploaded, cloud backup, timestamped, serial numbers on those gas cans traceable to their HOA shed, receipts from the hardware store, all of it. Suddenly, Diane dropped her phone. Travis stepped back. Roger shifted his feet. "You're bluffing," Bethany said, but the room felt thinner, smaller. So I dropped my own bombshell. Agent Lisa Rodriguez from the FBI's White-Collar Crime Division, interested in Verdant Holdings for interstate fraud and Fair Housing Act violations. That was only half true, but they didn't need to know. Bethany started to lose her cool, torch wavering, her voice trembling about her connections. Judges, senators, she'd make me disappear. Like Private First Class Jackson? I asked. The room went dead quiet. Jackson was one of the soldiers who died in Defense Corps' defective armor. His mom still calls me sometimes, just to talk about him. Even Roger looked sick. I told them I was live-streaming everything to my attorney. Truth was, it was just recording locally, but intimidation cuts both ways. Diane broke first, grabbed her busted phone, and ran. Travis, pale as milk, stammered. We were just supposed to talk. Roger finally snapped. You got 30 seconds to leave before I call real cops. The alliance shattered. Bethany's reign built on fear, and fear had found a new target. She turned on me, spit and venom. Warning, you'll last less than the last guy. Then she was gone, heels pounding like a ticking clock, with Travis and Roger right behind. The room stank of butane and Chanel No. 5. I watched their Mercedes disappear, felt my heart slow down. War was on, but I'd been ready since day one. What Bethany never understood was, I didn't buy this farm to spite anybody. I bought it because the land spoke to me. After Sarah died, after the settlement, it was the only thing that felt solid, real. The next weeks were a blur. 47 violation notices on my windshield, sabotage, dead chickens scattered on my fields, tagged to Gerald's name, herbicide burning messages in my corn. They weren't subtle. Each step, I documented, photos, video, paper trail, knowing bullies love paperwork almost as much as they love control. By day 10, they'd escalated to drilling holes, taking soil samples in the middle of the night, hoping to fabricate contamination. They didn't count on me knowing the law better than they did, or on Davidson, the young worker, blabbing about taking samples to the lab, like Mrs. Whitmore asked. And just when I thought the crazy had peaked, a mystery envelope showed up in my barn. Handwritten HOA meeting notes, details about special measures, even a message from an inside source. If you need help, leave your porch light on 3 nights in a row. I took the gamble. That's when Diane came forward, scared, ashamed, but done with Bethany's madness. She handed me 2 years of recordings, enough to put the whole HOA in federal court. She told me Roger's own daughter had been injured by Defense Corps armor. That's why he backed down, why he started feeding me information. Their unity was smoke and mirrors. It all built to a head one night, motion sensors flashing, figures with gas cans moving through my fields. I called 911, called Lisa. Don't do anything stupid, she told me, but I knew better. Sometimes you gotta run toward the fire, not away. Sirens cut the night, and suddenly the field was full of tactical teams, agents, spotlights turning midnight into noon. Bethany and her crew froze in the corn, caught between fire and federal law. The arrests made the news: suburban arson, corporate conspiracy, shell companies crumbling. At trial, Diane's tapes played for hours, Bethany planning, laughing, calculating profit from misery. The jury didn't even bother deliberating. 18 years federal for Bethany, 25 for Gerald, and lesser sentences for the rest. Defense Corps collapsed. Project Harvest, the big, secret land grab, was exposed and killed. My farm became the centerpiece of an agricultural reserve, the land protected by federal law, and a pilot for veteran farming programs. The funny thing? When the feds offered to buy my place for $15 million, I turned them down. It wasn't about money. Fire wounds, but the earth heals. Corn grew again, better than before. The same field Bethany tried to torch became the site of our first veterans harvest. Diane left her husband and ran our education program. Roger found redemption, turning his experience into a reform movement for broken HOAs. Even Travis, from his prison cell, sent me letters about learning to farm. Lisa and I, yeah, you guessed it, we built something together. She left the bureau, we married in the eastern field, surrounded by new growth. Every spring, we welcome a new class of veterans, men and women learning to heal through planting, not fighting. Diane's daughters run the youth camp. Roger's nonprofit has helped dissolve 17 toxic HOAs and reform 43 more. And Bethany, last I heard, she's working the prison garden, growing food for families she'll never meet. Her hands, once so eager to destroy, now nurturing seeds she can't control. There's justice in that, poetic in a way money could never buy. You want to know what I learned? Sometimes, the worst night of your life is just the fire you need to make something new grow. You can burn a field, but you can't kill the seed unless you scorch the earth itself. So, here's my question for you. If someone threatened your land, your family, your legacy, would you fight back or fold? Drop your thoughts below. Because in the end, justice is what we make it. And out here on this stubborn, healing ground, every ear of corn is proof. Bullies don't always win. Sometimes, fire just makes the soil richer. Like what you heard. Smash that like, subscribe, and tell me, where are you watching from? Because the next battle might be closer than you think.